It's Lag BaOmer, the 33rd day of the count of the Omer. Two amazing events that occurred on this day. Only about 1800 years ago. One was Rabbi Akiva and the plague that ensued had stopped. 24,000 students died, -5 that remained alive. And on this day, the Rabbi, one of those 5 students, passed away, and he said, celebrate. Celebrate. It's a time to celebrate. All right, we're going to celebrate, folks. We are going to celebrate. How are we going to celebrate? First of all, we welcome everybody. That's an amazing way to celebrate. Just welcome people. Imagine. Wow. Michael in Germany. Welcome. Rusty's in Texas. Good morning. June is very late. In Australia, it's already after Lag BaOmer. Mark, Santa Rosa is just starting. Welcome. Jackie in Charlotte, North Carolina, welcome. And Erica is in Norway joining us. Andrea in Phoenix, Arizona. Diane also in Arizona. Joseph is in New Jersey. Liba and Davida in New York. Clem is in Brisbane, Australia with us. Chava in Boulder, Colorado is joining us. Amy also in Colorado. All right. 2 Coloridians. Terrific Tuesday for Daphne in South Carolina. Denise is in New Jersey with us. Yohanan in California. John, shalom in oh my gosh. In North Carolina, of course, yes. Rabbi is in Morocco joining us. Julia in Pennsylvania. And Stan, good afternoon, in London, England. David is in Sacramento, California. Louise in Sydney, Australia. Simcha is in Florida. Jerry in Texas. Shol is Freilich in Lag BaOmer. Rachamim in Houston, Texas. Leah is with us in Florida. Dam in Indonesia. Israel is in Baltimore. I got everybody. Sorry if I didn't. We have Vilma and Batya, Jay, Michael, Marcy, Ruthie, Adam joining us on Clubhouse. Instagrammers, we have Rachel in South Carolina. Skywatch, Akoy in Lima, Peru. Many. Alice is in Baltimore. Jennifer in Minnesota. Oh, many in Tel Aviv. Beautiful. Tel Aviv joining us. Okay. Should you put yourself aside? Is that a healthy thing? And not make it about you? Sometimes we feel that in a relationship we put aside our agenda or our feelings. We're being walked upon. We are not being respected. And that might be true at times, that a person may not be respectful. And we cede, maybe sometimes, where we shouldn't, perhaps. But let's understand this from a divine perspective. God's nature is an infinite one, if you will. I don't know if it's right to say that God has a nature, but if we want to say, it's infinite. And yet, what does he do? On that infinite being, he contracts upon himself. He holds back, contracts. 3 major contractions. Almost sounds like giving birth. The world of Bria, Yetzira, and Asiya. From the infinite of God, the emanation of God, there's a great contraction that now there's a world of divine comprehension. That's a contraction where souls and angels can comprehend the divine. As beautiful as it sounds, it is a limitation. Then in the world of Yitzir is even a greater contraction, because now it's beyond comprehension. There's just a feeling, an emotion that you can have. And then you have in the world of Asiya, the contraction is so powerful and vast that there's no comprehension of the divine. There is no emotive connection. It's way beyond. And in that contraction, God becomes more and more obscured. His will becomes more obscured. His divine wisdom becomes more obscured. Why does he do that? He does it so he can create an environment where he's so totally obscured in this physical world that negativity is, and non-godliness is the environment. Why would he do that? In order that me and you can supplant that negativity, that darkness, and bring light by subjugating ourselves to fulfill that which God needs of us. That we subjugate our animal soul that wants just to enjoy life, seek pleasure, and instead connect to Hashem by doing what God needs from us, by having a relationship with Him and bringing Him into our lives. That's the whole purpose of this progressive descent of world after world. In other words, put in other terms, God's love for us is so great that He overcomes all barriers and obstacles. Now, I put that in quotation marks. God has barriers and obstacles, that would be a little. But in the sense that God is infinite, to overcome that barrier, to contract upon Himself, to hide Himself, conceal Himself, that He isn't there. That He isn't, or not that He's not there, but He's not readily available. In order that we should desire and want the relationship with Him. And that we subjugate ourselves, that we do have a relationship, that we don't give into the agenda of the vivifying animal soul and the body, its agenda, and we want a relationship with God and do what He needs in that relationship. That's the whole purpose. So, in effect, when God overcame His obstacles of being infinite, not that that's in other words, overcame His nature, so to speak, in order to allow the space for us to be. And to have a relationship with him. Because that was important. That's what he wants. He wants me. He wants you. So if God overcame those obstacles to give me the space that I could now be, right, that I should be created, what should I do? Well, as water mirrors the reflection of a face, as we started off in chapter 46, we reflect back to him what he has done. He's overcome great obstacles, again, figuratively speaking. We, not figuratively speaking, in reality, need to overcome our obstacles. Right? He set aside the infinite light of him for our sake, so we could be. So he did that for a relationship with us. So put aside everything that we have in our lives for him. Put aside anything that would be a hindrance. The material world, seeking money. Not that it even says, and this is something we've learned in the past, even family life to put aside for the love of God. Meaning, the love of God should be even greater than the love that we have for our family. Because the love we have for our family is a human love. It's a needy love, as opposed to a godly love. So if we have a godly love for God, that we're ready to put it aside, then we'll also be able to have that for our family, by the way. And even though love means embracing, and here it means to impel the heart, hold back. That's what this love means. Which is a more powerful love than an embracing love. Here I'm impelling the flesh. In other words, I'm holding back. Just as God held back his infinite light to make space for me that I should be, because he wants a relationship with me. So likewise, I also make space. I hold back me and my agenda, my personal desires, which is coming from the animal soul, that it wants just to enjoy life, to have pleasure in life, to have fulfillment in life. I hold that back in order that I can cleave to him, attach to him, to God. We see this in human relationships, right? For people that we love, we put ourselves aside for their sake. Where does that come from? It comes from the godly soul. So we have that power within us. Now sometimes we put ourselves aside because we make an equation, a calculation. I'll put myself, don't make it about me now, then later it'll be even more about me. That's not truly putting yourself aside. It's interesting. Speaking to somebody the other day, told him, I have a perfect girl for you. Showed a picture, said, wow. Says, I've got the CV here. She's amazing. Perfect match for you. So he's very excited. He says there's only one drawback. She's AI, artificial intelligence she was made from. Oh. Now, if she's a perfect robot, looks beautiful, and is everything, what's wrong? Why don't you want to go meet her? So the answer is, I guess pretty obvious. So why do you want somebody else? Because you've chosen that person. Right? If you were compelled, if you were forced to choose, but you chose, you want to have a relationship with that person. Likewise, you want back that. You don't want someone who's compelled, a robot that was programmed and wants to have a relationship with me because they were programmed as such. I want them to freely choose me. But what do I want? I want the relationship that you're choosing. So God contracts upon the world, puts everything aside just so he can have a relationship with you and I. He creates a dark world where he is concealed. And what does he want us to subjugate to? Put that all aside because we want a relationship with him. And that we're freely choosing it. Animals can't choose it. God doesn't want a relationship with them. Does he take care of them? Yes. Does he create them? Absolutely. But that's what he's seeking. He's seeking you and I. A relationship with us. That we freely choose it. So God put aside everything in order to do that for us. To have a relationship with us. That I should be. And that I should be able to overcome me to choose a relationship with him. A very powerful idea. All right. Folks, today we are not taking questions. But tomorrow we could. All right. Wishing everybody an amazing Lag Baimer. 33rd day of the Omer. Celebrate. Go on to Chabad.org, find out more about it. If you're go to your local Chabad to celebrate. Very amazing, special day. God bless you all. A wonderful day and a great Lag Baimer.